a relationship can also be a battlefield. Unspoken, suppressed desires, and resentments that stem from sexuality. Why suffer because of this? Why let the relationship fall apart when there is a solution? Do you want to fight me, or do you want something else? If you listen to my video series on Thursdays, this could be different. What is the reason that many men neglect their own potency issues? 1. He thinks it doesn't matter to the woman anyway. He assumes this because the woman does not give honest feedback. She usually doesn't say what she would like differently, what her desires are. Oh, everything is fine the way you do it, darling. And she doesn't speak up if she doesn't have an orgasm, nor does she say anything if something didn't please her. At most, she might speak up if something hurts, but even then, it's not certain. From this, some men conclude that it's fine, this way or that way. Now, we could say that this is the woman's fault, and indeed it is partly the woman's fault, but the man also lacks the empathy to consider that, well, it doesn't seem like my partner was very excited today. It doesn't seem like she was satisfied. I was satisfied. Well, maybe she wasn't. So couldn't one think about this? 2, this is related to a lack of self-criticism. Men generally don't realize that they are clumsy in bed, and many of them are awkward. I know this because practically since my teenage years, all I've heard from girls is how this guy was also so awkward in bed. He finished in 2 minutes, moved in a way that they felt nothing, etc., etc., etc. They simply don't tell the man honestly, well, but they tell another woman. You wouldn't believe what goes on in a beauty salon, what women talk about. But have some self-criticism. Milan, if perhaps you're not skilled, now think about this. And if you meet a woman who perhaps gives you this honest feedback, because there are a few honest ones, then don't let your first reaction be, but with Gizi, it was totally fine, and Gizi always enjoyed it. So I think you're the one at fault, Andy. No. Consider that maybe Gizi wasn't honest, or her standards were lower, or something else. Or perhaps you really were better, say, 10 years ago with Gizi, and now you're not as good with Andy. So yes, you should accept any potential criticism, reflect on it, and take it seriously. Don't end up like one of my clients who knew for 25 years that his wife didn't enjoy sex with him because he constantly climaxed in 2 minutes. And when his wife, at the age of 65, found a younger lover who could satisfy her well in bed, she decided to leave her husband. That's a bit late, so 25 years is a very long time. So have enough self-criticism to think about what you're causing to the woman with whom you always finish in 2 minutes. Do you think it's enough for her if you satisfy her with your mouth or hand? Just think about yourself. Is it enough for you if someone gives you a hand job or oral sex? Isn't intercourse better? Well, it's better for the woman too. This is somewhat related to the first reason. The third reason is somewhat related to the first reason, when the man thinks it doesn't matter to the woman. Many men believe that the woman is faithful. They intentionally choose a wife or long-term partner whom they assume to be faithful, even if she might not be that good in bed with them. But precisely because of this, since the woman has no demands and everything seems fine as it is, this doesn't come back honestly, and because she doesn't really desire sex. She was never that eager. She never really enjoyed it that much. That's exactly why she won't cheat on the man. Many people think this way. Well, I have worked with women. I wasn't always a sexologist. In fact, I've been everything except a hanged man. And what I saw there, just the most modest-looking woman whom I would never have suspected in my life, was cheating on her partner behind my back. in such a way that the poor guy never found out. Not least because the girl moved to that city because of them. So that naturally the boy would have thought that the girl's love for him was immense, which was obviously true. But love is one thing, sex is another. And she found someone else with whom it was better in bed. And this is the girl you would never suspect of cheating. A type of person, well, to use a harsh term, a grey mouse type. So she walks past you on the street and you're sure not to notice her. Modest, reserved, speaks very little. Truly, so to speak, she has no demands. But when there was a company event, she asked whether she should bring her official partner or her lover. But obviously she's not the only one. I just gave one example, but in the UK, a study was conducted, not recently, where they observed how many children are cuckoo chicks and how many actually come from the father. The one we would think is the father, meaning the husband. Not from the father, because obviously they come from the father. And imagine, they didn't dare to publish the results of the study because the number was so high, indicating that women indeed became pregnant by another man, not by their husbands, not by the man who thought he was the father of the child. And the researchers were so frightened by this high percentage, which I believe was 20%, that they didn't dare to make it public. Then a few decades passed and they finally published it. Otherwise, how would I know that this is the case? By then, society was probably able to process it, or they didn't read the research. You see, that's also possible. The point is that women are not faithful at all. Anyone who thinks so is mistaken. And now I refute the other side, that men always cheat, and the rolling potato and the fly in flight and such things. Statistics. I'm telling you seriously, it's such simple, formal logic. If the man is unfaithful, if the man cheats, and the woman does not, how is that possible, excuse me? So with whom does the man cheat? With another man's wife? Obviously, we're not talking about that. So, obviously, he cheats with a woman. And that woman with whom he cheats is equally not considered faithful because she might be single. But she had intercourse with a man who is in a relationship. So that woman does not belong to the group of faithful women, because a faithful woman does not go after another woman's man, even if she really wants to. So, it's not possible that only men are unfaithful and women are not, because a man has to cheat with someone. And yet, this incredibly stupid misconception has been circulating in public consciousness for millennia. It's ridiculous. It's so simple. You just have to think about it. How is it possible that no one has realized that such a thing doesn't exist in the world? That we say men are unfaithful. They cheat. And women are faithful. Let's stop that. Of course, there are plenty of faithful women and plenty of faithful men, so it always annoys me when people make distinctions between men and women like this. Oh, and then there's this theory that a man has to spread his seed. Yes. It's just that a man wouldn't want to have offspring from just anywhere either. And here I want to return a bit to this point, that men often choose a wife with whom they don't have a good sexual relationship because they believe, as I mentioned earlier, that this will guarantee the man's fidelity. Loyalty is extremely important. If a woman cheats, it should not be told to the man because most men cannot handle it. However, the reverse is theoretically possible. This is why the saying has spread. encouraging women a key to be more forgiving. The fourth reason is that a man is unable to achieve an erection because his sexual desire has also decreased. By the way, potency-enhancing pills can fix the erection, but they do not necessarily increase sexual desire. After all, a man can have an erection without really desiring the woman that much. All right, so let's not mix apples and oranges. Many people believe that just because a man has an erection, he definitely desires the woman. No, that's not necessarily true at all. So, if a man notices that the woman doesn't desire him that much, he retreats into his shell a bit. You notice it when the woman doesn't desire you, for example, when she never initiates. This is quite a serious sign. Many men realize that something is wrong here. Of course, the woman tries to explain that she was raised that way, blah, 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 blah. But you can't fool a smart man with such nonsense. And if this were really the only problem, then the woman would go to a sexologist to overcome this inhibition that holds her back from initiating. So the man realizes that his woman doesn't desire him. And he gets to this point. But he doesn't get to the point of understanding why the woman doesn't desire him. I previously mentioned that it's because the man is clumsy, and that's why the woman no longer wants to have intercourse with him. But I didn't mention what happens if the man's appearance has changed. When they first met, he looked good. He was fit. But now he has a huge belly. You can't even see his penis because of the beer belly. He looks like a pregnant woman. Well, which woman finds that attractive? By the way, there are people who find it attractive because there is a fetish like this called the disgust fetish, where someone is attracted to things that are a bit disgusting. And this can include someone being extremely deformed, and yet that's exactly what is exciting for the other person. Well, the husband looked a certain way when they got together at, say, 20 years old. And now he looks very different, very bad. And it's his own fault, so it can't be blamed on natural aging. And then the woman might not desire him anymore, or simply the man became smelly. This happens too. He doesn't pay attention anymore. Or let's say they met when he didn't have a beard, and now he's too lazy to shave. And the woman doesn't like that. Or anything else. So why assume that? If your appearance changes, your woman will still desire you the same way. This is not certain at all. Appearance matters. A lot to women too. Yeah, and this is another myth that women aren't visual. Just think about the animal kingdom, how beautiful the males are. There, it's not the female that's ornate, but the male. And it's the male who starts performing an erotic dance, not the female, trying to seduce the male. Okay, you might say not to compare humans to animals, but doesn't anyone think about this? That the man should be the one to elevate the woman's sexual desire, not the other way around. Since a woman's sexual desire is generally lower than a man's. We're talking about the average woman and the average man here. Healthy ones. That's how it is. So it's the man who should do everything to make his woman desire him. And if she doesn't, then maybe the fault lies with him, not with the woman. Please make sure to definitely, but watch my video again next Thursday and enjoy. That could be